So very much like Jeff Goldblum, there's another guy who's just as weird. Perhaps even weirder than Jeff Goldblum. And his name is Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken, when he talks, I think he forgets that commas and periods exist. If he has a pause, it's a pause where it shouldn't be. I wonder how good he was in school and his papers. It makes me question a lot of his life. Anyway, this is Vest's Top 5. I am Vest Guy, and today we're talking about Christopher Walken's Top 5 films. I am not going to mention movies that he had a small part in, because before anyone starts going crazy, like, oh my god, you didn't mention Pulp Fiction, you didn't mention True Romance, you didn't mention Deer Hunter, oh my god! Before you start saying that, keep in mind that I'm only going to mention the movies that he had a pivotal role in, or if he wasn't a main character, he probably was a secondary character, and he had a lot of screen time. I know what you're thinking, why didn't I mention A View to a Kill, where he played the most menacing Bond villain? God, that movie. Mr. Bond! I wasn't expecting you here so soon. Wow. I'm amazed that you're still alive. And that's my terrible Christopher Walken impersonation, but it's not on this list. There is, however, an honorable mention. I wanted to mention a film that he did in the 90s called Nick of Time, where he plays a villain that is forcing Johnny Depp's character to kill a senator. Very good film. If you haven't seen it, watch it, but it isn't on my top 5. For number 5, I am going to mention, however, a film that he did also in the 90s, in 1992 exactly, the sequel to the 1989 Batman film, Batman Returns. In this film, Christopher Walken plays a corrupt businessman named Max Schreck, who is working with Danny DeVito's interpretation of the Penguin. His lines in this movie are pretty cool. There's a sequence where he, at the end of the film, where he's like interacting with Catwoman, and he's saying, Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed like Batman? And then Michelle Pfeiffer says, because he is Batman, you moron.
That's the best
Michelle Pfeiffer
impression I've ever
I don't know
heard.
why. That's how I hear Michelle Pfeiffer in my head.
It's like she was in the fucking room.
Yeah. Forget about Christopher Walken, man. I should really quit my day job and become a Michelle Pfeiffer impersonator. Anyway, but Christopher Walken has a great menacing part in this film. He doesn't appear as much as he should have, even though he is very important to the plot of the film. So number 4, these films, the first one's very good. The sequels, they're not so good. And that movie is The Prophecy. In The Prophecy, he plays Angel Gabriel. And this is a horror film that, while it's not the most memorable horror film, what makes this film work is Christopher Walken. For Christopher Walken alone, I would watch this movie again. It had 2 other sequels that starred also Christopher Walken, and then 2 other sequels that went direct to video as well, that did not have Christopher Walken in them. But Christopher Walken has a great part in this film. He plays kind of like an anti-hero-ish kind of character, which gets explored more in the sequels. But it is worthy of watching. I'm pretty sure you can watch this on Netflix. Last time I saw it on Netflix. So number 3 is a film that he did also in the 90s, early 90s, and directed by David Cronenberg, and that movie is The Dead Zone. In The Dead Zone, Christopher Walken plays a character who can foresee the events that are going to happen just by shaking the hand of an individual. And there's a sequence where he finds out, I don't want to ruin, but he finds out a soon-to-be president is going to do something really terrible to this country. Very well directed.
Trump?
You know, it's funny that it's this film is like foreseeing the future. You know, we should hire Christopher Walken to foresee the future.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's like, wow, back in the 80s, I knew that Trump was going to become president. Wow. Anyway, I'm just trying to milk my really bad Christopher Walken impersonation. Number 2 is a movie that almost nobody really knows. It's a film that sadly should have a lot more recognition. This film is called Suicide Kings. In this film, most of the movie actually, Christopher Walken is sitting down, tied up to a chair, and a group of people are in the house. And that's all I'm going to say about this film, because if I say anything else, it will ruin the story. Watch it. Very good. Christopher Walken gives one of his best performances ever. I was almost going to put this movie as my number 1 on this top 5 list, but there's a movie that he did called Kings of New York. Kings of New York was released in the 90s, and he is he's actually the main character in this film. It's one of the few movies I can think of where he's the main character throughout the whole thing, he gives a performance that I cannot match to anything else other than perhaps Pulp Fiction, but Pulp Fiction he has a really small part. So I won't tell you the story of Kings of New York, because just like Suicide Kings, it would ruin a lot of pivotal parts in the film. So this was the top 5 Christopher Walken films. I'm Vest Guy, and this was Vest Top 5. And if you don't like this list, you can kiss my ass. It was something like that.
Hey, like, move but don't rock, like, the whole time. You know what I'm saying?